The first step in creating your own pattern for embroidery lettering is to figure out exactly how much fabric space you have to put your letters or your words on. So to do this, it doesn't need to be terribly complicated. Have a ruler, the fabric you're going to be working with, and it's helpful just to have a sheet of basic printer paper and a pencil. So I wanted to just talk about a couple different things to consider. I'm going to go through this somewhat quickly. If it's just going to be a simple rectangle of fabric that you're working with, the main thing you just need to do is measure the height and the width of the fabric. And make sure if you do any measuring, you don't measure out at long points like this. You want to pick that narrowest point and make sure that's the point that you are measuring from. Keep in mind, however, as you're doing your measuring, make sure you subtract any fabric that is going to be used for sewing seams. So for example, if this was going to be a pillow, I would lose a 1/2 inch of seam at the top and a 1/2 inch at the bottom and a 1/2 inch from each side. So whatever the size of this fabric is, I would end up subtracting an inch from the height, and I would subtract an inch from the width, so that I would only have the dimensions of the visible fabric on the finished pillow. The second thing I want to think about is padding. So when you have a pillow or a wall hanging or whatever you're stitching, the words aren't going to go all the way up to the absolute edge of your fabric. There's going to be something called padding, which is the blank space that surrounds your words on the top and the bottom. So think about how much padding you want to use also. A little tip I like to do is to use a formula for my height to calculate my padding. For the height, I use 50% of visible fabric for my actual letters. And for the width, I use 75% of visible fabric. So that means, for example, with this piece here, my height of this fabric is approximately 7 inches. I'm going to subtract an inch from that for my seams, the 1/2 inch on the bottom and the 1/2 inch on the top, which brings me to 6 inches of available visible fabric that I'm going to work with. So 6 inches of height, and I'll get a calculator and I'll multiply whatever my height is by 0.50. And so in this case, that's going to give me 3 inches. And so 3 inches is going to be the amount of the maximum height that I have for my letters. Then with the width, I'll do my measurement again. Again, I need to subtract an inch because I'm losing a 1/2 inch on each side. So instead of this being 9 inches wide, which is the full width of the fabric, I'm going to have only 8 inches of actual visible fabric of width. So 8 inches wide. And then in that case, instead of multiplying it by 0.5, which is the 50% of visible fabric for the height, I'm going to multiply it by 0.75 for 75% of the visible fabric. And in this case, 75% of 8 inches, when I plug that into my calculator, is going to give me 6 inches. So 6 inches is my max width. And that is just a quick and easy way to calculate approximately how much space you have to put your actual letters on. Now, this formula I use is not hard and fast. If you don't want to do it this way or you don't want to do the math, you could also do something as basic as tracing a rectangle, the approximate size of my fabric piece, and then just thinking about, okay, there's going to be my seams, approximately 1/2 inch on each side. and I'm just eyeballing it a little bit here. I can always double check it with my ruler if I'm worried. And then I think about just, okay, I want my words to kind of appear about there. So that's about where I want my words to be. That is about where I think it would look good. And once I've sort of sketched that, then I could just measure. There I have, well, look at that. It's just a little about 3 inches high. And in this case, I ended up with 5 inches wide. So a little bit smaller than by my formula. 6 inches would have been out a little bit more like this, right? So anyway, so you could also just sketch that rectangle, measure it, and that's another way you could come up with some very fast measurements to figure out what you're working with. The last little thing I want to talk about here is if your finished project is going to be a circle. So if you are working with an embroidery hoop of some type, be cautious here, because if I were to just measure the diameter of this hoop, which is 5.5 inches of space inside this hoop, it would be 6 inches, or a little over 6 inches, 6.25 if I went to the outer edge of the hoop here. That, if I actually made a rectangle with that dimension, you'll see that rectangle ends up being bigger than the actual hoop. So if I try to make my letters that big, you know, A, B, C, well, look what happens to my hoop. Those letters are going to end up being hidden. So in a case like this, if you're going to be creating something for a hoop, I suggest tracing the circle like that onto a piece of paper. And then just like I did with that rectangle, just sort of eyeball about how much space on that hoop you actually want to use, and then measure that dimension. So that would be just something to keep in mind. Now, so going back to my project here, so if I had this piece of fabric here and I was going to work with 3-inch maximum height and 6-inch maximum width, now I'm going to move over onto my computer and start playing around with lettering, fonts, and varying sizes. So let's switch over and do that. I use a word processing program in order to play around with different lettering styles and fonts. You can do this with Microsoft Word, with Pages. I use Google Docs. I'm sure there are others out there that you could also use. And to access Google Docs, I simply sign into my Google account, my Gmail account, and then up here in the upper right corner, you've got this little hamburger menu. You click that, it comes down, and I scroll until I find Docs and click on that. Then I just select a blank template. Once I'm here, I begin by just typing the word or the text that I want my embroidery pattern to have. So in this case, let's say I wanted to embroider the name Sarah. So I type that name. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it, and I'll start by making it a little bit bigger just so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to come up and play around with some different fonts. In Google Fonts, just if you can get a few options here automatically when you pick that font pull down menu, but up here at the top you'll see you have the More Fonts option. Side note, this does not show up on a tablet or a phone for some reason. This will only pop up for you, this More Fonts option, if you are on a desktop or laptop. I don't know why that is. Google Docs can be a little quirky. I guess that's what we get for working with something free. Anyway, I'll select More Fonts, and once I'm here, I will come over here to where it says Show All Fonts, and I'm going to narrow that down a little bit. I typically use either display fonts, which would be more fat fonts that will use sort of a satin stitch. They'll be great for big letters that are 5-6 inches tall, or even words that are going to be a full inch tall, something like that. If you want something that's going to be small, filling in lots of words, maybe a quote that you're putting onto an embroidery pattern, then the handwriting category may be better. Handwriting is going to give you more of the cursive looking fonts. So in this case, I'll look at the handwriting fonts first. And when I see these more narrow letters, the lines that make the letters are narrow, those will be good for creating things with a stem stitch, where it's just a single line drawing out the letters. Whereas something like permanent marker down here, where the lines that draw these letters out, those lines are very fat, and those would be great when blown up in size to do with a stitch that fills in large spaces, something like a satin stitch, or if you wanted to group a whole bunch of French knots together to make a big poofy letter, then something fat like that would work. So choose your fonts based on the type of stitch you want to work with and how big your finished letters need to be. Now in this case, the letters I'm going to make are going to be pretty big, so I want something that's a bit on the fatter side. And I scroll down here, and you know what? I kind of like this Berkshire swash, so I'm going to select that. And when I click this, you'll see it becomes added over here into my Fonts section. And once I've added it there, I'm going to exit out by clicking OK. Do not push the X button up here. If you do that, you'll lose the font that you selected. Come down here and click OK. And then there it is. My word has now been changed. If for any reason that change doesn't happen automatically, you could come up here to your drop-down menu, and you'll see that now the font I selected and added to my fonts is available as a drop-down option. Now the next step is I need to make this big enough to fit on that fabric space that I had calculated. So keep in mind, I have a maximum of 6 inches of width, and I have a maximum of 3 inches of height to work with. Now, that does not mean that my finished word, Sarah, is going to be exactly 3 inches by 6 inches. It means that it's going to be one of those two lengths as its maximum. So I'm going to keep stretching it bigger and bigger until it is either 6 inches wide or 3 inches tall, whichever happens first. The other dimension will end up being smaller than its maximum, and that's okay. So here I'm going to now select Sarah, and you'll see at the top of my document I have a ruler across the top and a ruler across the side. I'm going to use the zoom in feature over here. Right now it's at 100%. I'm going to zoom into 200%. That helps me to see my word get a little bigger and makes that ruler a bit easier to see its dimensions. So I want 6 inches wide. So I want my word to be all the way out to here, and I want it to be 3 inches tall. So all the way down to here. So it could be that big when I am done with it. And now that my word is highlighted, I'm going to come over here and start playing with font sizes. So the biggest available size for me to just click on is 96. I'll start with that. And I'm still way small compared to what I could do. So here I could probably go, I'm 2 inches tall about at this point, and I'm a little over 3 inches wide. So now what I'm going to do, instead of clicking on the available numbers here, I'm going to actually highlight and delete the number in that space, and I can type in really any number I want. I'm going to try doubling up here, and I'm going to put in a full 200. And at this point, it's really playing around, going bigger and smaller until you get to a point where you have your word the size that you want it to be. Now here, I'm going to zoom back out my view a little bit to make this a little easier to see. It's gotten cut off, so I'm too big. It's not fitting in that 6 inch maximum width. So I need to go a little bit smaller. Let's try 175. All right, that's brought it down. And now I'm at just under 6 inches wide, and I'm going to check my height, and I'm still under 3 inches tall. So, I mean, I could probably go just a tiny smidge bigger, but it does not have to be a perfect science here. This is close enough that this is a good fit with the size of the fabric that I wanted. Now, it might have happened that I could have picked a different font that was more squeezed together, where the letters might have only been 5 inches wide at this point, but already been at that 3-inch height. And if that had happened, I still would have had to stop. You stop when you reach your first maximum dimension. At this point, my next step, I'm going to delete out my extraneous wording there. I want only my embroidery pattern text to be here now. And now I'm just going to print my document. When I print it, I need to make sure that I am not changing the dimensions or the size of the word. I want it to scale at 100%, which is exact size. Make sure whatever your printer program is that it does not say something like scale to fit or fit to page. If you have any of those options selected, your word is not going to print at the exact size you want it to. Your scale should either say 100% or it should say something like actual size. So I have 100% here and I'm going to hit my print button. And now I'll go get that from the printer and we'll go on to our next step. Now I'm back at my workspace and you'll see here I have the word Sarah printed out in the font at the size I want it to be. And I've already taken the time to trim the paper down a little bit. I need to leave a little white space along the edges so that I can pin it to my fabric when I do my pattern transfer, but otherwise this is about right. I like to just take a moment and I put it on my fabric, make sure I'm happy with the general sizing. I also sometimes take my ruler and just confirm that this word definitely printed out to approximately the size I want it to be. So I'm a little under 6 inches wide, and from the highest point of the word, which is the top of that H, to the lowest point of the word, which is the bottom of the S, I'm looking at about 2¼ inches tall. So that's well under that 3-inch maximum height that I had calculated. At this point, I am pretty close to having an embroidery pattern. I'm going to move quickly through a couple pointers, but I recommend, if you have not already, go and watch my video on how to transfer an embroidery pattern to fabric. I go over a lot of the techniques I'm about to use here in that video in greater detail. So if you don't know some of what I'm talking about here, then that video will help you. So here I have my Lightbox source. I'm using an iPad in this case, and I put my pattern over this. And so one option I could do is turn off my background light to help me see this, put a piece of fabric over, and then simply trace the outline of the letters directly onto my fabric. Now I personally prefer to do this second method, which is I turn the paper over and I'm going to trace the back to get my mirror image, and I'm going to trace it with a heat transfer pen that will then create an iron-on transfer. One of the reasons I like to do that is then once I have my finished iron-on transfer made, I actually scan it into my computer and keep that as a digital file to keep for future projects if I ever wanted these letters again. So at that point, I don't need to color in all the interior of these letters. I only need to do the outline. And one thing I can think about here is, do I want to use more than one color of pen for different types of stitches? How do I want to do this? Do I want a type of drop shadow? Anything like that? And I'm just going to trace the back of this. And then once I've done that, presto, I have an iron-on transfer that will go right onto my fabric. And that's all there really is to making your own embroidery pattern with a word processor.